Be prepared. Most won't feel it until it's too late. But if your heart has been aching for no reason, if a name from the past keeps echoing in your soul, if your energy feels strangely fragile today, this is not random. The love portal has opened. Not the romantic kind, but the kind that shakes your foundations. The kind that forces every false comfort to fall away. And before tomorrow, your entire connection to love, trust, and truth will be tested. Have you ever wondered why some people resurface in your thoughts just before a shift in your life? Have you been questioning a bond that once felt sacred, but now feels strangely quiet? This portal isn't bringing answers, it's bringing mirrors. And what you see now, in your relationships, in your memories, in your triggers, will reveal what's aligned and what's expired. Don't run. Don't reach back. Don't confuse familiarity with fate. Because this energy is not subtle. It's sacred. And by tomorrow, it will choose for you, based not on emotion, but on energetic truth. The question is, will you be brave enough to let go of what almost loved you, to make space for what actually will? It doesn't arrive with the fireworks. It doesn't knock on your door. The most powerful shifts always begin in whispers. A missed call that still lingers in your chest. A sudden ache for someone you haven't spoken to in years. A soft pull toward a version of yourself you almost forgot. The June 7th love portal is not about romance. It's about realignment. It opens silently, without permission, without announcement, and suddenly, everything that was good enough begins to feel unbearable. You may have noticed it already. Conversations that feel hollow, even with people you love. Old songs that now sound like someone else's memories. Familiar places that carry unfamiliar weight. This is the portal at work. It's not changing the world around you. It's changing the frequency within you. And once that shift begins, you can no longer pretend that surface-level connections are satisfying. Have you ever looked at someone you once adored and felt like you were staring through glass? Have you ever heard your own voice trying to explain your needs and wondered who you were really talking to? These aren't signs of confusion, they're signs of clarity. Because the love portal doesn't open to bring you what you think you want. It opens to strip away what's been standing in the way. This energy is sacred, but it's also ruthless. It will break every illusion you've built around safe love. It will unmask the smile you've been wearing to avoid disappointing others. It will rearrange your emotional furniture until your comfort zone feels like a prison. And then, it will ask a question you can't ignore this time. Are you willing to let go of love that doesn't see you in order to make room for the love that does? This isn't about soulmates. This isn't about twin flames. It's about the vibration that you've settled into, and whether it can carry the weight of who you're becoming. This portal reveals all the places where your love language has been survival, where you've begged for breadcrumbs instead of receiving the feast, where you've called longing romance and silence patience, where you've waited for closure from people who were never meant to explain their exit, only to make space for your rising. And here's the hidden truth. Not everyone who entered your life was meant to stay. Some were karmic mirrors. Some were teachers dressed as lovers. Some were simply echoes of the version of you who hadn't yet remembered your worth. But now you feel it. even if you can't name it. A quiet urgency, a soft ache, a knowing that something invisible is moving. And if you don't respond, you'll miss the call your soul has been waiting for. This is how the portal begins. Not with grand declarations, but with a subtle shift in your ability to tolerate anything less than truth. So, if your chest has felt tight around someone lately, if your energy drops after every interaction, if your dreams are filled with people from your past and you wake up exhausted, then you're not broken. You're calibrating. You're being summoned to the threshold of a new kind of love. One that doesn't require performance. One that doesn't confuse emotional labor with intimacy. One that begins not with another person, but with a choice. I will no longer settle for being half loved. Because the portal isn't promising someone will show up. It's preparing you to stop disappearing. It's not in your head, the sudden urge to cry without a reason, the deep exhaustion that comes right after a social interaction, the overwhelming pull to isolate, to protect your space, to turn off the noise. It's not weakness, it's sensitivity, sacred, amplified, and right on time. When Mercury aligns with Jupiter and this love portal peaks, your nervous system becomes an antenna, a living sensor. You're not just processing your own emotions, you're absorbing the emotional truth of everyone around you. And in this energy, nothing can hide anymore. Have you noticed that you're more reactive lately? More easily overwhelmed by tones, glances, or even silence? That's because this portal isn't simply shifting the external, it's bringing up the unresolved frequencies you've been carrying for years. Grief you never voiced, affection you minimized, hurt you disguised as independence. Now it's all being pulled to the surface, not to break you, but to free you. Your sensitivity is not a flaw, it's a compass. And the reason it's peaking right now is because your soul is demanding accuracy. You can no longer pretend you're okay around people who disturb your peace. You can't smile through moments that feel like soul betrayal. You can't quiet your body when it's screaming for alignment. And yes, this may be confusing, because some of the people triggering you now are the very ones you've loved the longest. Some of the situations you're rejecting are the ones you used to crave. But this isn't regression, it's recalibration. Can you recall a moment recently where your body responded before your mind could explain it? Where you walked into a room and your shoulders tightened before a single word was said? This is the portal's language. Sensation before logic. Your intuition is no longer a whisper, it's physical. And that's why you feel like you're too much, too emotional, too tired, too sensitive. But what if you're not too anything? What if the world you've been in was just too numb? This energy is thinning the veil between your surface self and your soul self. You may feel like you're being pulled apart, but what's really happening is a reassembly. A merging of who you are and what your energy can no longer lie about. And yes, it's lonely, because clarity always comes before company. You're learning what your peace costs, and that cost is often distance. Distance from people who drain, distance from habits that numb, distance from stories that no longer fit. This is why you feel so much. Your soul is finally being heard through your body. And she doesn't want you to play small anymore. She doesn't want you to tolerate discomfort just to stay loved. She doesn't want you explaining your silence, justifying your no, or apologizing for your boundaries. Are you starting to notice what your body does when someone enters the room? Who makes your breathing shallow? Who makes it easier? Because that's the real test. Not logic, not history. But your nervous system's vote. You are not imagining it. You are not exaggerating. You are not broken. You are being refined. And every tear, every wave of exhaustion, every moment of rawness is your system adjusting to love that doesn't hurt anymore. Let the sensitivity rise. Let it expose everything. Because whatever falls away in this portal was never meant to hold your heart in the first place. Not every return is a reconciliation. Not every message means they've changed. And not every sudden memory is an invitation to reattach. Some are simply echoes, and some are tests. This portal of June 7 is opening something far deeper than nostalgia. It's exposing your vibrational habits. It's no accident that old flames, past lovers, former almosts, and faded connections are surfacing now. It's not fate pulling you back. It's a mirror. A question. Have you really healed, or are you just avoiding the next level of love? Because when the portal of transformation swings wide open, the universe will often send the old as a final checkpoint before it blesses you with the new. The person who ghosted, the one who wasn't ready, the one you still write about in your head when you can't sleep. Suddenly they appear, a message, a like, a dream, and your heart skips, but not always out of joy. Sometimes it skips because it remembers the wound before the warmth. Why now? Why do they always come back when you're almost over them? Because emotional gravity is real. Your healing shifts your frequency, and when your frequency elevates, those still entangled in your energetic past feel the pull. But here's the hard truth. Not everyone who feels you rising is meant to rise with you. Ask yourself this: if they didn't value you when you were bending, how will they hold you now that you've rooted? You're not the same. Not after this portal. Not after everything you've endured, released, rebuilt. And yet, a part of you might still crave the familiarity. The old jokes, the chemistry, the illusion that maybe this time it'll work. But maybe it's not love calling. Maybe it's the part of you that still fears being unmet. Maybe it's the ache of closure you never got. Maybe it's the hope that someone from your past can redeem your loneliness by finally showing up the way they should have. But what if the lesson isn't about them showing up? What if the portal is asking, can you finally close the door yourself? What if the miracle isn't that they return, but that this time you don't answer? This moment is sacred. The universe is watching to see if you've rewritten your story. If you'll believe in a love that doesn't require struggle. If you'll honor your intuition over your attachment. If you'll choose peace over patterns. And if you're asking, God, but what if this time it's real? Then ask yourself something deeper. Do they recognize who you've become? Or are they still chasing the version of you that needed their validation? This portal is not punishing you with confusion. It's gifting you the opportunity to graduate from cycles that once defined your self-worth. And if they knock again, softly or boldly, remember, you don't have to hate them. You don't have to reopen the wound. You simply have to remember that healing means sometimes love must continue in silence. There comes a point in every spiritual upgrade where words become unnecessary, where conversations feel too slow, where logic no longer explains what your soul already understands. That's when the signs begin to speak. Have you been seeing repeated numbers lately? 1111, 222, 717. A name showing up 3 times in one day? Songs playing with lyrics too specific to be coincidence? This is not superstition. It's soul mathematics. It's the language of alignment. And during this love portal, it becomes impossible to ignore. When Mercury aligns with Jupiter, the mind expands, communication sharpens, and the universe takes advantage of this heightened awareness to deliver messages, not through shouting, but through subtlety. You walk into a room, and a stranger says a sentence that answers the exact question you were silently wrestling with. You open your phone, and the first thing you see is a quote that mirrors the feeling you didn't know how to explain. Your dreams become more vivid, sometimes prophetic. You wake up at the same time every night, heart pounding, unsure why. These aren't random. They're invitations, clues that you are not imagining the shift. You're living inside it. But not all signs are warm. Sometimes they shake you. The sudden argument with someone you love. The job opportunity that disappears. The moment you spill water on your laptop the night before an important meeting. These, too, are messages. Not to punish, but to redirect. Have you noticed how the signs escalate when you try to go against your intuition? That's how the universe protects you now. It doesn't just send butterflies and repeating numbers. It sends interruptions, blockages, resistance. Because the Mercury-Jupiter alignment doesn't tolerate noise anymore. It amplifies truth and dissolves illusions. So anything misaligned will start to feel unbearable, fast. You'll feel a strong urge to cancel plans with certain people. You'll get sudden clarity on someone's true intentions. You'll feel uncomfortable around things you used to tolerate. Why? Because the frequency you're now stepping into cannot be shared with everyone. Not everyone is meant to walk with you through this portal. And the signs will show you who can come and who must stay behind. Are you listening to the signs, or still waiting for permission? There's a moment where your growth becomes so undeniable that life stops giving you hints and starts giving you consequences. The whisper becomes a storm. The nudge becomes a wall, and the delay becomes divine protection. So here's your reminder. You don't need a full explanation to honor a sign. You don't need proof to follow a pull. And you don't need consensus to trust your path. The universe is not asking you to figure it all out. It's simply asking you to follow what keeps repeating. The number, the feeling, the name, the dream, the moment that makes your body pause. Synchronicity isn't just spiritual poetry. It's your new compass. And during this portal, that compass is pointing somewhere sacred, but only if you dare to follow. What if love isn't something you find, but something you tune into? In this portal of June 7th, the universe isn't asking you to run after anything. It's asking you to radiate, to remember. Aligned love isn't a product of effort. It's a byproduct of embodiment. You don't have to convince the right frequency to stay. It will stay because it recognizes you. So many of us were taught that love is pursuit, that if it hurts, it must be worth it, that if you're being ignored, it's your job to try harder. But this portal is unraveling that old program. Because now, your magnetism is your power, not your persuasion. Have you noticed that the more you chase, the farther it runs? That when you try to fix or prove, the connection gets heavier, and that the moment you stop, when you finally breathe, the right people move closer. This isn't magic. It's physics. It's resonance. Mercury and Jupiter together are opening not just communication, but clarity. They are shining a spotlight on your internal broadcast. And if you're still leaking energy into proving your worth, you'll miss the love that's been trying to find you. Because love doesn't come when you're exhausted from chasing. It comes when you're rested in truth. So the real question is, what are you broadcasting? Are you radiating a frequency of availability, authenticity, peace? Or are you still sending signals of desperation, need, lack? You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And the version of you that has learned to self-regulate, to self-validate, to self-nurture, that version is a beacon. It doesn't yell, it doesn't beg, it just glows. This portal is asking you to stop trying to become someone love will choose, and instead become someone your own soul would stay with. Because when you feel safe with yourself, you'll stop tolerating what makes you shrink. When you know your value, you'll stop explaining it. When you honor your own nervous system, your boundaries will no longer shake. Are you willing to release the performance of being lovable? Love is not a sales pitch. It's a vibration. And when that vibration aligns with another, the connection will happen without you needing to chase it down, decode it, or question your worth. But here's the sacred twist. The moment you shift into this kind of love, some people will vanish. Not because you push them away, but because your field is no longer compatible with their patterns. Let them go. The frequency you're calibrating to now is not for everyone. It's not mainstream. It's not needy. It's not built on games or scarcity. It's clear, steady, safe. And from that field, real love will arrive. Not with chaos, not with confusion, but with clarity. So stop asking, where is my person? Start asking, what version of me are they drawn to? Because the real work isn't finding them, it's becoming you. And that version, she doesn't chase, she attracts. When a portal opens, it doesn't only bring what you desire, it clears what no longer serves. And that can feel like loss, like confusion, like silence louder than sound. But in truth, it's grace in disguise. Because the kind of love you're calling in now can't coexist with who you used to be. This final chapter of the June 7 portal isn't about chasing a person. It's about preparing for a presence, a field, a vibration though precise that only what matches your healed frequency can enter. Are you still mourning what left, or opening space for what's coming? Many are in between now, not where they were, not yet where they're going. But that space, that sacred in-between, is where the transformation completes itself. You might be waking up at night with a sense of urgency, dreaming of someone you haven't thought of in years, feeling emotional for no reason at all. That's not regression, it's purification. Because the final step in receiving divine love is releasing the residue of performative love. Love that was rooted in survival, in pleasing, in fear of being alone. Now, you're not attracting from fear. You're anchoring from fullness. The portal has done its part. The signs were sent. The alignments are complete. But the real shift will happen in what you choose after this. Will you answer the text that feels like a test? Will you lower your standards for the sake of temporary comfort? Or will you hold your frequency even when silence echoes louder than reassurance? This is the initiation. The universe isn't testing your worth, it's testing your embodiment. Can you remain rooted when the old version of love tries to sneak back in, dressed as a memory? Have you ever wondered why some people only reach out when your energy starts rising again? That's not a coincidence. It's the gravitational pull of your healed field and the echo of patterns that are being broken. This portal will close, but what stays with you afterward, that's where the miracle lives. In the choices, in the standards, in the self-honoring that continues when the astrology is quiet. Because portals don't grant wishes. They reveal what you're truly aligned for. And you now, after everything you've released, survived, purified, you're aligned with a different kind of love. Love that doesn't arrive with a question mark. Love that feels like exhale, not explanation. Love that doesn't test your nervous system to feel real. It might not be loud, it might not be who you expected, but it will be true. And when it arrives, it won't require you to abandon any part of yourself to receive it. Because that version of you is gone. She was a lesson. And now, you're the answer. So breathe, close your eyes, feel the portal closing and your alignment sealing. You don't need to go back. You're no longer lost. You're arriving. And what's ahead isn't just romance, it's resonance. It's recognition. It's the mirror you've been building from within, finally appearing before you.